This is Crisis Kitchen 3. I thought I'd share some thoughts today on SMEs and survivability in this crisis. So we as an SME don't have a bank of advisors, and lots of other people as large corporations will have to advise them on potential scenarios. But even then, there is such wide variance in their advice that maybe it's not a bad thing. But essentially, it comes down to the CEO or the board that it's going to be deciding on just how we get through this crisis. Now, there will be companies out there that are just going to fail. They probably would have failed anyway. They were holding on with their fingernails, and all of this has done is just accelerate that process, and we're already seeing certain companies go into administration. There are others that were making a good fist of a recovery, who, if this crisis had not happened, would have actually probably made it through and been successful. But those people that are applying for the business interruption loan with that type of story are not probably going to get a sympathetic hearing. The banks will see it as being too much of a risk, not much of a track record. And so there's going to be some failures of companies that ought to survive, that are not going to survive, sadly. And then that doesn't give us a free pass. The rest of us all have to figure this thing out. So what are the qualities that are necessary to actually survive this crisis? I had to think about that. And I thought about 5 of these ones. One is wisdom, the other one is leadership, agility, competence, and team. And I'll just explain what I mean about that. So the wisdom side really comes back. I was reading Alan de Botton's book, The School of Life, and he divides it by 12 components. Okay, so we haven't got time for 12, but I'm picking out 2 here, and one is realism. And so the first one is realism, which is about that anybody who's leading through a particular crisis knows that it's going to be hard, and any major task is going to be hard. And those type of tasks are not going to be smooth. They're going to have surprises and bumps in the road. So being realistic to understand that these things, bad things will happen and surprising things will happen, is really important. That calmness that you need to have in leadership is really essential for the rest of the business. Things bad will happen. You have to be expecting it and not to actually really react in a way that's a surprise, because it shouldn't be a surprise. But having said that, that difficulty should not stop people actually attempting the very difficult things to do. It's only the fact is you need to accept that there will be surprises along the way. And the second one is resilience. And resilience is almost a state of mind to say, that we can actually still survive even if we're missing all these other things that we're used to. And we're going to have to be fully resilient. We have to accept that life isn't going to be just as it was beforehand. All that amazing things we were doing, some of that we can't do. But resilience, you've got to have a good understanding of just where your boundaries are, so that you know that that's okay. We can survive if we do that. And understanding that is very important. But the leadership issue, of course, is the other point, which everybody talks about. But it's not sufficient for people just to be working from home and to be watching the daily news briefings. They need something from the company saying, what does it mean for me? What does it mean for my job? And of course, because we've got people sitting in unfamiliar surroundings, sometimes not working at all, it's really important that they get clear and easily understood messages back from the leadership. Of course, in this total uncertainty world, agility is really the key attribute. And so, yes, you need a plan, but you have to be prepared to rip that plan. And so, the plan is dead, long live the plan concept. Okay, so you have to keep actually continually inventing these things. You always need a plan, but you have to be prepared to revisit it. That agility of the team to morph with the events is essential. And, timing is everything. The Linford Christie, he went on the B of the bang, don't go too early, all right? But that is a judgment call. But agility means you've got to move fast. Competence, I've got also listed. You've got great competence in your organizations. You don't want to lose that competence. The furloughing scheme the government has enables us to reduce costs, but without losing that competence. You're going to need that competence in order for us to get through the other side. And of course, the team is everything. It's not just the CEO or the board or everything. Is that team feeling good is an essential part of coming out the other side. No recovery, nothing great was ever handled by Cassandras. This is about having a team of focused people that are driven, that understand their mission and understand the importance of it. And getting you through and winning at the end of the day is going to depend upon how that team feels. So keeping that team nice and focused and ready to go when it's the time to go is going to be an essential part of survival. So those are my thoughts for today. I hope you enjoyed those, and I'll be doing something next week. Okay, thanks.